Why do the smartest people so often end up entirely alone? You see them everywhere. They can solve complex systems at work. They analyze problems with incredible precision. They read people in seconds, yet their love lives are a total disaster. They experience a strange pattern of failed connections, sudden withdrawals, and deep emotional frustration. You have likely seen this in others. You might have felt it in yourself. Most people assume intelligent individuals are just too picky. They think high standards filter everyone out. But that explanation is wrong. It is a comforting lie. The real reason intelligent people struggle in love has nothing to do with high standards or bad luck. It is tied to a psychological trap built directly into the brain. It is a covert defense mechanism that feels like wisdom but acts like a wall. If you have ever felt too smart to be happy in a relationship, pay attention. The final reason behind this phenomenon changes everything you thought you knew about your own mind. The first layer of this trap is cognitive overprocessing. Highly intelligent people do not just experience emotions, they analyze them instantly. When a feeling arises, the analytical brain intercepts it. It turns a simple physical sensation into a complex problem to be solved. You feel a sudden pang of anxiety during a second date. Instead of just feeling it, your mind builds a case. You evaluate the partner's body language. You replay their exact words. You scan for hidden micro-expressions. Daniel Kahneman wrote extensively about System 1 and System 2 thinking. System 1 is fast, automatic, and emotional. System 2 is slow, deliberate, and logical. Love requires System 1. It requires raw, unanalyzed presence. But the intelligent mind forces System 2 into the driver's seat every single time. You treat a budding connection like a chess game. You play out 20 moves in advance. By the time the appetizers arrive, you have already predicted the breakup. You think you are protecting yourself from waste. In reality, you are killing the connection before it can breathe. You analyze the spark so thoroughly that you blow out the flame. The second layer involves an addiction to predictability. Intelligent people navigate the world by finding patterns. You predict outcomes, you map risk, you eliminate chaos. That strategy yields incredible results in your career. It keeps your life orderly, but intimacy is inherently chaotic. Love cannot be mapped. It demands that you tolerate total uncertainty. Erich Fromm explored this in his work on the fear of freedom. Human beings crave safety, but genuine connection requires surrender. An intelligent person views unpredictable human behavior as a threat to their equilibrium. When a partner reacts in an unexpected way, the smart mind panics. It interprets uncertainty as incompatibility. You start trying to control the narrative. You demand explanations for subtle mood shifts. You try to fix the relationship dynamic before it even breaks. While most people simply ride the unpredictable waves of a new romance, you attempt to dam the river entirely. You replace raw human connection with rigid expectations. You choose the safety of solitude over the risk of vulnerability. The third layer is the subtle trap of intellectual arrogance used as a shield. Sigmund Freud defined rationalization as a primary defense mechanism. It allows us to replace real, painful motives with logical, acceptable excuses. Intelligent people are master rationalizers. You do not say you are terrified of being rejected. You say the other person lacks intellectual curiosity. You do not admit that emotional intimacy terrifies you. You say your partner does not read enough books or lacks long-term ambition. You build a castle of valid reasons to walk away. You tell yourself that you simply refuse to settle. That feels empowering. It protects your ego. But beneath that intellectual arrogance lies an intense fear of being truly seen. You demand perfection in a partner so you never have to risk being vulnerable yourself. You construct an impossible standard as an emotional moat. While other people stumble through clumsy, imperfect connections and grow, you stay safe behind your high standards, completely isolated. The fourth layer goes deeper into dark psychology and power dynamics. Robert Greene writes extensively about the constant subtle struggle for control in human relationships. Intelligent people hate feeling powerless. In love, the person who cares less holds the power. When you open your heart, you hand someone else the power to hurt you. You lose your leverage. For a hyper-rational mind, this feeling is terrifying. It creates an urge to maintain the upper hand. You monitor the emotional balance constantly. If you feel yourself falling too fast, your internal alarm goes off. You pull back. You act distant. You force the other person to chase you. You use subtle conversational framing to keep them on the defense. You analyze their flaws aloud under the guise of helpful communication. You subtly establish yourself as the emotionally mature, rational authority in the relationship. This is not overt malicious manipulation. It is an automatic self-defense reflex. You manipulate the dynamic to ensure you can never be caught off guard. You win the game of emotional control, but you lose the person. The fifth layer is emotional detachment masquerading as maturity. Carl Jung wrote deeply about the shadow, the hidden parts of our psyche we repress because they feel unsafe or unacceptable. Intelligent people often repress their messy, childlike emotional needs. You learned early in life that your brain earned you praise, while your raw emotions caused trouble or rejection. So you built an entire identity around being the calm, rational one. You become the counselor in your relationships, never the patient. You become the advisor, never the vulnerable partner. When your partner brings you genuine emotional distress, you offer logical solutions instead of simple empathy. You try to fix their feelings as if they were computer bugs. You wonder why they get angry at your clear, logical advice. The answer is simple. They do not want your intellect, they want your presence. By staying in your head, you remain emotionally invisible. You protect your shadow from exposure, but you starve the relationship of genuine intimacy. The sixth layer is the problem of projection and high pattern recognition. Smart people pick up on subtle behavioral signals instantly. You notice the tiny delay in a text response. You spot the brief flicker of hesitation in their eyes. You detect the slight shift in their tone of voice. Your brain instantly matches these signals with past experiences of disappointment or betrayal. You construct an entire future narrative based on a single microdata point. Psychologists call this hypervigilance, but you call it intuition. You think you are reading between the lines. In reality, you are writing a script that was never there. You project your past wounds onto your present partner with extreme logical precision. You accuse them of motives they never had. You force them to defend themselves against imagined offenses. Eventually, the partner grows exhausted. They leave, confirming your original suspicion. You tell yourself you were right all along. You do not see that your own analytical mind created the exact outcome it feared. Now we reach the climax, the seventh and ultimate layer of this psychological puzzle. The real reason intelligent people struggle in love is not that they are too smart for romance. It is that they use their intelligence to solve an equation that does not exist. They treat love as an intellectual problem to be mastered, rather than an existential experience to be lived. You believe that if you analyze enough, protect yourself enough, and screen people accurately enough, you can love without pain. That is the ultimate cognitive delusion. Viktor Frankl taught that life derives its meaning not from logical certainty, but from direct engagement with suffering and love. Intimacy requires the complete surrender of your analytical control. It requires you to step off the spectator gallery and drop into the messy, unscripted arena. You do not need a smarter strategy for finding love. You need the courage to be foolish. You must allow yourself to be clumsy, irrational, and exposed. The path forward requires a subtle shift in your internal identity. You are not just a mind that carries a body around. You are a complete emotional human being. Your intelligence is an incredible tool for understanding the physical world, but it is a terrible master for your heart. Start recognizing when your brain tries to protect you by overanalyzing a simple human moment. Notice when you use high standards as an excuse to avoid genuine vulnerability. Catch yourself trying to win emotional conversations with logic. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to strip away the complex judgments of the mind and focus purely on the immediate reality. When you are with someone, turn off the internal strategist. Stop predicting the outcome. Stop reading between the lines. Accept the risk of being hurt. Because the ultimate victory of intelligence is not protecting yourself from the pain of love. It is knowing you are strong enough to survive that pain and choosing to love anyway.